Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Ripster Daily Trade Recaps and Daily Teachings. Before we start, quick disclaimer, anything we discuss is just for educational purpose, nothing is financial advice. Alright guys, another amazing day. So lot to discuss today. I will try to go fast. Though a lot to learn today. How to create your focus list when market is bouncing, how to bounce the market, how to use Ripster clouds, how to do analyst upgrade trades, how to find those home runs so you can grow your account with that. It was amazing day in the community today. We had over 74% traders who were green in the community. We had over 76%, only 15% were red. Of course we work, I try to work with everyone, make sure everybody is green. But amazing day in the community today. One of our traders, one of our students hit a big milestone today, hit $1 million account from $300,000 account. It's not about the dollar, it's about the growth, the consistency, the power of education. So as you see, it was a beautiful day and you guys can do that as well. Let's do a quick introduction, and so that you can learn from this free education and you can also be a successful trader, successful investor in the market. Let's do a quick introduction before we start. So anything we discuss is based upon a repeatable system called Ripster EMA Cloud System, and all my teachings, all my concepts that I have been teaching for over 8-9 years on X for free. And also we trade it live in our community, one of the largest live trading educational community, not an alert service, Tenet Trade Group, where we plan everything in the morning. We plan everything in the pre-market. Of course, I also did a lot of planning. Our traders also do a lot of planning on the weekend, creating those charts, which I'll show you, and playing those setups. We trade all those setups. I highlight important setups. I create support, resistance, initial game plan. I highlight red setups. We trade news plays, index stocks, we played upgrades, downgrades, which I will explain to you. You can go back or watch all of my other recaps so that you can understand more about our community, what we do in our community. We have a lot of tools in the community: option flows, stock scanners, breaking news alerts. The tools worth $400 and $500 are free for the traders who trade in the community. We also trade futures. We have futures guidance in the pre-market. Futures was a big winner today. We'll talk about that. We trade crypto stock. This plan is also provided in the pre-market. Today was very important day for my day 2 day 3 strategy. We'll go through our day 2 day 3 setups, how I create these focus lists, which everybody should be able to focus on. We'll go through them. So this plan is also provided in the pre-market to the traders so they can trade those. We also trade IPOs. We trade low floats. I'm live. I created the pre-market plan half hour before the market opens. I'm live during the first few hours of the market open, live on voice, live on screen, guiding the traders through the setups, through our plays, and how thousands of traders on our trading floor sharing their ideas all day long. I also try to share my updates on X as well. As you know, my teaching is 95% free. Of course, in our community we have the webinars, the PowerPoints, and everything. You don't really need to join the community, but if you want to, you're always welcome. But let's start with the recap, go through the setups. So if you missed opportunities today, you can also learn how to trade these setups, how to find the home runs, how to create the focus list, how to use Ripster clouds, MTF clouds. Let's start with the first play of the day. So before we go through the before we go through our community planning, let's see what I shared in the on X today and how the plan worked out. So we use our VIX strategy. You can go to ripstereducation.com, learn the VIX strategy that I have been teaching for so many years, changed many lives. It's a very repeatable strategy that I kind of spearheaded on X, and people have been since then. A lot of traders are using it. So we had a plan. VIX was elevated in the morning. I told the traders we will long VIX market if VIX breaks 2240. Pay special attention. Also, long setup over 1 hour Ripster MTF clouds. If VIX breaks down, long over 1 hour Ripster MTF cloud. Long over QQQs, long over yesterday highs. previous day highs versus MTF. SPY also 2021 MTF breakout, which I will explain to you. And watch the Mag 7s, watch the semiconductors for the confirmation. So that was the plan I also shared on X. Of course, we had a detailed plan in our community. I was on The Voice. I explained the plan to the traders. The same plan I gave them on SPY, QQQ, NASDAQ futures to trade those things. How to trade those things? You know, you need to either trade options if you're trading SPY, QQQ, or you can trade leverage ETF shares, or you can trade futures. There are many ways to trade the market and make consistent profits in the market, where you can keep your losers small and winners big. So decide what you want to trade with, how you want to trade with. Use the Ripster clouds to trade them, use the MTF clouds. And not every day will be a great setup. Today was a great setup for many reasons that I will explain. Today was a great setup because QQQ and SPY both were sitting on Ripster MTF cloud. I'm going to do a big webinar on Wednesday. Make sure you join that. You can learn more about the Ripster MTF clouds. So I was using the SPY was pushing over the Ripster MTF cloud, and SPY was right under the 50 MTF clouds. Very important. MTF clouds are the multi-time frame EMA clouds from different time frames that you can see on your intraday charts. That really helps with finding the trend moves, the breakouts, the breakdown. So we had the SPY here and we had the QQQs here, and as soon, okay, let's look at my guidance here. So let's go with the QQQs here. QQQ I was more interested today because I will show you that, because semiconductors were super strong. Semiconductors were super strong. That's why we were interested in that. We will talk about the focus list next, but I just want to show you, as soon as I saw the strength pushing over that, I traded the Taurus long versus 595. That means you long here, take a long, buy the options, whatever you want to do. Your stops are at 595, and then when you see the yesterday highs breakout, you hold it. This is our 10 AM concept. When the price flags at 10 AM, you know the flag is breaking out, you hold it. So I gave the Q guidance. I gave the target of 2021 MTF clouds. We ran from 596 to 602, 6 points there, 100% the options, beautiful move there. And then as we kept moving up, watch this Ripster clouds, look at this Ripster levels, we continue to hold our positions and we continue to move the stops up. So finally we hit we hit 605 from 596, over $9 per share profit. You could trade leverage ETFs, SPXLs, TQQQs, however you want to make money in the market, you could do it. You buy 1,000 shares, you're risking, if you're trading TQQQ, you're risking $500. You're making $2,000 by end of the day, right? If you want to trade the QQQQ options, first you need to learn the options. If you're new, just don't go by this video, watch my other recaps and watch my other videos, or join the community, watch the webinars, or go to ripstereducation.com. So QQQ was good. 602 calls went from $1.50 to $5. So if you're trading with 1,500, you could at least make $3-4 grand with the options as well. So let's look at SPY as well. And remember, it's not, you have to analyze everything, how the market is moving, what is market made of, what is S&P made of, what is QQQ made of, what is Mag 7 doing. There's a lot to cover, but if you don't understand that, make sure you pause the screen, go ask ChatGPT, go ask Grok, and it will explain to you, right? So anyways, SPY, we were initially long on the SPY, but this red candle we stopped out. But when I see that it's reclaiming back, I told the traders back on the 512 calls, and now we target the 2021 MTF. And then SPY also ran from 663 all the way to 670, similar as QQQs. Ride these Ripster clouds up. All these free indicators you can get on various services, or you can also sign up to TradingView if you want to sign up and get this charting platform. It's a must. So you could trade anything. You could trade the ES futures, same thing. The levels I gave on ES futures were as well in our pre-market guidance. Let's take a look at that. You could trade the futures, ES futures, as they break the resistance pivot, you take them long as per the Ripster clouds, and so you could take those longs as well. So ES futures was a good long. NASDAQ futures was a good long. Great day for traders. That's why 74% traders were green, especially the index traders were green. Taking the positions. There was no reason to not to be green today. Ripster cloud was spot on. So something, and how did this work? Because VIX was breaking down. Remember when I said if VIX breaks under 20 to this 40 area, you go long. So VIX was kind of not breaking that level initially, but at 10 AM. So two concepts to learn here: VIX concept and 10 AM concept. The move came at 10 AM when VIX rejected the 10 AM, and then I told the traders, now relax, enjoy the ride. So I told the traders, traders that just hold on, let them work. Look at this, let them work. And I kept giving the target, 668 target on SPY, MTF target, and we hit all the targets here. If you do not have the other targets, you use average to range to find your target. So everything, no BS, no hindsight. You can see my live stamped guidance. Amazing trade today. Traders literally, even the option small account traders literally had huge gains on their accounts, because today was a trend day. When you lose, we lose small, but when we big, we win big. Now let's see with this market move, what this was our focus list. How did we trade the other setups? So the focus list, I usually what we did was we went through. So whenever market is selling like this, right? So you need to know what are your top stocks, right? If the top stocks are the semiconductors, top focus, because semiconductors are the biggest sell-offs. So you need your list, right? We have our list of the semiconductor stocks that we trade, right? So I can show you here. So we had our semis and AI. So we create those watch lists. I share those watch lists from time to time. I have all those watch lists that we consistently use. So when I have those watch lists that what stocks are selling off, let's say if I'm in my semiconductor watch list, I go through all the charts, right? Where I go through all the charts, we chart them a day prior. If you see that, yesterday our team put a lot of charts on our 10H charts. If you don't follow them, do follow them. You can see like we planned for Oracle, and whatever makes sense to me that which will provide good setups. We will cover our IONQ longs, Rocket Lab longs, Oklo longs, IREN longs. So we plan in the pre-market, right? You have to chart it, especially on a day like today when we know that we are coming back from a big correction, right? So let's say we were focused on AMD. So you browse through your charts and you create your charts. AMD, I know AMD was at a big level. AMD was at a 200 psychological level. I know if it bounces, it's a great opportunity for me to put the stops under 200, take a long, swing it, trade it, whatever I want to do. So on your trading view, you always have these watch lists, so you can go through them super duper fast, go through each of them, browsing them, and if you like something, you make a note. But since semiconductors were selling most, I had all of them on my list. I had SOXL on my list because rather than trading individual semiconductors, if the semiconductors are bouncing, I can trade SOXL, which is an ETF for semiconductors. You see that semis on the watch, pre-market planning, 1 hour MTF long setup, 1 hour Ripster MTF cloud long setup, long over previous day high, no go under. It was supposed to be previous day high. So if I'm talking about SOXL, let's take a look here. This is Trend by the way. You see this is the 1 hour MTF cloud, and you see this is the previous day high. So a lot of semiconductors were running, and that's fine. So that's when I told the traders longs as SOXL, 1 hour MTF cloud, you buy here at 33.50. You need to be ready. If you move the initial move, wait for the pullback. Your stops are still at 33, 50-cent risk, it ran to $36. So you could easily on 1,000 shares, you could easily make $2,000 there, and you just risk $500, right? So a lot of setups like that, and AMD was our top focus as well because semiconductor was bouncing. I have all those watch lists on, that I'm watching. So I know that where to focus on. So you see AMD, SAM is on watch. So you have to do the preparation, and you have to prepare that what you want to trade with. And AMD, as you see, I gave the long at the open, although we were going to long versus 200, but it had already bounced from 200. But when I saw the breakout, I saw the semiconductor strong, I told the traders to long it, because AMD also, when you create your focus list, you need to look at what has sold off most, right? If AMD has sold off a lot compared to the market, and what is at a key level that gives you conviction. So AMD was at the gap. AMD was also at last recent pullback. AMD was also at 200 level. So that gave me reason to have AMD as my top focus, right? Because I know there's an opportunity there. You know, if you see this, I was making a plan: AMD versus 200, Meta versus 600, Tesla versus 400, Microsoft versus 468. You know, we will take a look at them in a bit, but let's start with AMD. AMD versus 200. Already AMD bounced from 200. You know, as a swing trader, I can risk that, but as a day trader, I have to find a closer risk, which I got from the opening price. I took the pre-market high breakout and I told the traders to long AMD, and we gave the MTF targets. Then we had a 30-minute flag. We had this is called a 30-minute flag that we had right here. Let's take a look here. So this was our 30-minute flag. So you see this was a 30-minute flag right here, and when that flag broke out, I told the traders to move the stops up to 211. So you keep moving your stops up, right? This is TradingView, that's TrendSpider. So you keep moving your stops up there. So you keep your moving stops up, right? And we hit all our targets. We hit the upper MTFs. That's the 50 MTF clouds. We completed the MTF to MTF magnet. You know, the initial risk was that. So that's how we traded semiconductors, SOXL long and AMD long. All right, just like I explained to you how to build your focus lists, why was a Tesla on my focus list? Right? Because Tesla was trading close to the 400 psychological level. One of my teachings that I have done from years to teach you guys how to where to focus on. So Tesla, that's why Tesla was my main focus, right? So if you see that from that the tweet I had yesterday, Tesla versus 400. So as soon, you know, just to go fast, you know, just to show you the timestamp guidance, how the traders killed this trade, I told the traders to long Tesla right at the open. I can take these clouds off, don't really need them. Those were long versus 400, 410 first target, and you know, and you can see that 414, 418, 420 next target. Then we finally exited right here at 419, right? So we got over 17 to $18 per profit. Remember, when we longed at 403, our risk was $200 on 100 shares. By the end of the day, we are making $1,700-$1,800 with risk to theirs, right? So you see that how Ripster clouds your analysis of your daily chart. You have to be ready. Some traders tell me, oh, Rip, it went out of the gate. Yes, because you were not ready. It was not on your focus. My Tesla was my focus, because I read the charts. I tweeted about it yesterday night too. This is the plan you have to make. You have to make 3 or 4 or 5 of your focus lists that you want to focus on, right? So that's why in the pre-market planning as well on Tesla, there was a news. I said simple 400 psychological long, watch the amateur moves, watch the option flow, take it long. All right, so now we're going to look at Meta, right? So Meta was the same thing, nothing different, the same thing. Again, my teachings about those levels. So what did I say in that? Let's take a look here if I can show you that. Meta versus 600. What does that mean? And this is what I posted yesterday. And same plan we had in the pre-market planning. Meta, I made it red. Trade versus 600. Trade Meta. If you can trade Meta, you can trade Meta. You can trade whichever stock you want, Meta. But we didn't get it long right out of the gate, right? So we wanted to see the 600 hold. Initially it pulled back the 600. That was not a long, but as soon as it called over the 512s, that's when I told the traders you can take it long versus 512. The breakout is over 602, and from there on Meta ran all the way to 612, right? So even if you the options went, even if you took Meta, you bought Meta when it was breaking Meta was breaking 600, you could buy a couple thousand shares, you can risk $400, and by end of the day you are making a dollar profit. You're risking what, 10-20 cents. That's a good risk reward. Or you could trade Meta leverage ETFs, which was a pretty good as well. Or you could trade the options on Meta, which for small accounts you need to trade smaller options, not a bigger options. If you want to look at 615, so 615 in the morning, it ran from 350 all the way to $8, $350 to 800, double $1,000 into 2,300. So that's kind of the trade you want to take. Remember, we had a plan, focus, because it was a 600 psychological level. So you have to review your charts and figure out, does it make sense to you? Has it pulled a lot? And these are all the tickers. These are max 7s, right? So also go through max 7s. I ignored some of the other stocks like Nvidia, which was not having a good relative strength. You just need to find those focus lists, create those focus lists, and take them long. All right, so let's look at the next plays here. A lot of plays in the community today. Now comes our day 2 setups. Also, a lot of those names had news. But remember, you need to a day 2 strategy is very handy, especially when market is going through a big correction. I look at what is the market trading, what has been the strongest stocks before the corrections, what are the market favorites, what are the stocks which are every investor top of the retail. So that's how I put PLTR, APP, CoreWeave, NeoClouds were selling off. We'll talk about them. I had on my list. Crypto I had on my list. I had memory and storage on my list. So we'll go through one was done. Most of them were big winners for us from our day 2, day 3 strategy. Let's start with APP. Let's look at what was planned on APP in the pre-market. APP plan was to trade versus 1 hour MTF, long over 530 or 512 calls, bullish over 1 hour MTF. Remember, we have a 1 hour MTF. APP pulled back right here to 1 hour MTF and pushed, flag, pushed. So I told the traders to long versus MTF, just like the pre-market plan. Target guy gave 550. We hit our 550 target. There we took most of the profit. It went sideways and did push towards 560 at the end as well. All right, so let's look at the next focus list, PLTR. PLTR is quite a famous retail stock. You need to know these names. You need to be, make those lists. Why did I put the PLTR on the top of our day 2, day 3s? PLTR long over yesterday highs, bullish over 1 hour MTF cloud. Everything is my system. You will see a lot of these winners are trading around my MTF clouds, because I know once they break the MTF clouds, we're gonna push higher. And they actually pushed into the daily 512 MTF clouds, which I don't use that much, but just to show you, you can also use the ATR for your target. A lot of traders in the community were long on PLTR. I gave them the stops of 158.50 on the MTF setup, and it ran from that 160 flag breakout all the way to 165. Easy trade, risking $500. You could easily make 3 grand on this trade, even if you had like 1,000 shares there, or if you were trading options, really multiple returns on that. All right, so I'm going to talk about a few of these names, which will also be related to the analyst upgrades and downgrades. But you guys know that NeoClouds that I've been talking about, that's a sector. Those are the they provide a data center AI infrastructure for AI compute. So they are NBIS, they are CoreWeave, which is always laggy. There is IREN, which is one of my favorite. So again, same thing. That's how you build your focus list. Know what are the hot sectors. You know that these names, NeoClouds, are pretty strong hot sectors. So I even tweeted about IREN NBIS, better moves in NeoClouds, 1 hour MTF long setup, CIFR, which is also a same sector. CIFR also moved from Bitcoin to the AI compute data centers. So JP Morgan upgraded it, so the whole sector was good. Not only that, your focus list, this is the hot sector. These are hot AI names. You need to focus on them, right? So what did they do? Let's look at the pre-market planning and all 3 quickly. Otherwise it's going to be a long video. IREN, long over 1 hour MTF breakout, trade versus 1 hour MTF breakout. NBIS, trade versus 1 hour MTF breakout. CoreWeave, trade versus 1 hour MTF breakout. If you want to look at CIFR, bullish 1 hour MTF setup. So everything was 1 hour MTF setup. You look at CFIR, 1 hour MTF, long, beautiful trade as per the plan. You look at IREN, breakout over 1 hour MTF cloud, told the traders to put the stops at 43.90 for 1 hour MTF long, told them I was on the voice, I told them to long when it pulled back a little bit, I told them to put their stops at 43.90. From there on, IREN completed the MTF magnet, ran from 44 all the way to $50. Insane move on our $6 move on this MTF magnet setup. Also remember tier 1, when some tier 1 when some tier 1 analyst upgrades these names, or the sector like CLSK was upgraded by JP Morgan, that also helps it. So you know, trade versus, even that one was a pretty big mover all day long. Similar sectors, so Clean Spark as well, you see how all these neoclouds name ran because Morgan Stanley came in and upgraded one of them, and we are already coming from the correction. All the other stocks from the sector as well ran today, and you see these were all on our plan. Big winners for us on these setups. You know, Clean Spark, CIFR, IREN, NBIS. The one we didn't touch, although it was on our plan, was CoreWeave, because it never gave us a convincing setup, and it was kind of relatively weaker than the other setup. You see, it never broke out of this range. You know, I would have tried to trade it over this, but I told the traders, you know, if you see my tweets, I even mentioned that CoreWeave still acting like a POS. CoreWeave still acting like a POS. So these were 1 hour MTF longs, guys, you know, from the MTF clouds. That's how our system is so high probability. That's how the MTF cloud system is changing lives. Let's go to the next one. All right, so let's go to the next ones, right? We know there was this sell-off, right? And so we have this sector of artificial intelligence, storage, computer memory. You know, they also sold off decent. Now, not only they sold off, and that's why we had it on our day 2. I had on the focus list. I put it in my day 2 plan. Why did I put it in my day 2 plan? You see, I put them, both of them together, because they are same sector. Starter long or yesterday highs, bullish over 1 hour. MU was long over 1 hour MTF cloud. Now they also had an upgrade, again upgrade from Morgan Stanley, SNDK, and Micron, right? So they had an upgrade, and you know, I gave the levels 208, 2014, and we have the day 2 plan that I just showed you, and it was amazing guidance. Let's look at SNDK first here. Let's take a look, and you can see that SNDK was a breakout over 1 hour MTF cloud long, then 2020 MTF hit this next MTF as well. So if you clearly, SNDK, I also tweeted in the morning, one of our top focus, right? I put it on Friday that I tweeted. It was our number 1 day to play. Why was it? It has sold off 18% the other day. I knew it is giving me a good opportunity. Not only that, SNDK was at 200 psychological level, right? Another one. That's why I chose it. That's why it was our high focus plays. RGV in the community walked the traders through that setup as well on their Micron. Let's take a look at Micron, similar setup. So anyways, let me show you my guidance here. Micron and SNDK was MTF longs right at 937. I gave those longs. I already showed you SNDK. Micron was another one. Remember, pushing from the 1 hour MTF clouds. MTF to the MTF, Micron completed the MTF magnet. RGV gave the long in the community. He gave the first target of 224. We hit 224 because it was an MTF magnet from this MTF. You know, insane amount of account growth today, and you can see step-by-step guidance by RGV. Amazing trader, very proud of it. You know, my amazing student. He's leading the providing the traders such a good opportunity, and with his guidance, love it. You know, you can do the same, just like the traders like RGV and thousands of other traders in community. We are just following the system, that I teach them, and that's what everybody needs to do. You know, just surrender to the system, and you can also win with these setups, right? So, so you saw those. We covered the neo clouds. We covered these names. Let's go to the next one. Next one we're gonna cover is quantum stocks. All right. So quantum stocks, we are going to cover. I personally just focused on IONQ. I have shared the list many times. You know, we have this list of quantums, with 17 tickers there. You can see that there's the list. QTM, QBTS, RGTI, QUBT, IONQ. The whole list was up. Again, focus list, right? But why was IONQ my focus? Because IONQ is the leader, and IONQ is also pushing from 1 hour MTF cloud, right? So as soon as I saw that pushing, and let's see here, let's go to the pre-market planning. pre-market planning on the day 2 plans. You know, traders often tell me, oh, there's too many. You trade what you want to trade. You focus what you want to focus on. My guidance to thousands of traders in my community, somebody's trading something, somebody's trading something, you know, so I try to show them the best setups. You know, I try to show my followers the best setups. So you choose what you want to play, right? So IONQ, you can see that all these quantums and nuclear I put here. IONQ was a long over 1 hour MTF. We also had an OCLO, which was long over 1 hour MTF breakout. The plan was given, the level was given. I gave the OCLO long versus 40 to 50 right at the open. I gave the stops at 43. OCLO ran, IONQ ran from 43 all the way to 48. Beautiful winner, easy winner. So much was running, but you just need to know which, and I repeat it again. AI is one which dipped. AI pump is back. So AI related names are gonna be moving a little bit high. Now what was OCLO doing? OCLO didn't do anything in the morning, so you don't see really any guidance from in the morning because it never triggered. You know, see the difference between IONQ, how it pulled back and went in a nice trend, and compare it with OCLO. OCLO was on our focus list, but it never really gave us something that we were really interested on, right? So there were some other plays as well. You know, you could see Rocket Lab was there, 1 hour MTF long, it pushed from there. So Rocket Lab was there. It's a space stock. You know, this push, this was on our game plan. You know, we had hymns, and I even you know, we had hymns, which was I posted yesterday. Bounce versus 35, 33 area risk. Set up void if it fails to hold 35 level. This was a previous resistance, became a new support. What did hymns do? Hymns bounced from the 1 hour MTF cloud all the way to the higher levels there on our chart here. So that's how you have to find those lists, right? You need to know which things can go higher, which can you know, stay which are more chance to provide you that big move, right? You know, this has been selling from days, and you know it's holding the 1 hour Ripster MTF clouds, so there's a chance that it can go higher. And no hindsight, no BS. That's why I put this on my focus list. So there are some other plays here that we plan in the pre-market. This is something we didn't focus on you know, but we saw it in the pre-market. It was strong, so it was a bullish bias on that. You know, LITE had was upgraded, another analyst trade. It was a beautiful breakout. You see the daily breakout. So also try to find the stocks which are breaking out of the big daily levels, right? LITE was a breakout. We also had Google, which was a 300 breakout, which kind of bounced from 3450 right here, and a midday long setup. But talking about LITE, it was amazing guidance by RGV in the community. You know, you don't really need to trade all the famous names. Sometimes there's hidden names will provide you great opportunity. You just need few shares. Even if you had 100 shares, you know, you could easily make $20 per share profit on this move. And beautiful guidance by RGV, and the 300 magnet completed there. All right, so let's wrap up by talking about our plays on our plays that we're going to talk about Bitcoin, right? So Bitcoin, BTC, USD, you see pushed over the 1 hour MTF cloud and ran all the way in the morning. Same for Ethereum. Let's look at Ethereum. If you look at Ethereum, so you see that Ethereum also pushed over the breakout over 1 hour MTF cloud. So based upon that, you know, we were trading coin in the community. You can see here coin was a nice push from the 1 hour MTF clouds. It came at 10 a.m. Remember the concept of 10 a.m. So I also gave the traders the long at 10 a.m. Coin curl at 10 a.m. is when I gave the long, and you see it ran after that because that's when Bitcoin started to move. And MSTR was not doing anything all day until it broke out here middle of the day. Right here I gave the MSTR versus 130.73 calls, pushed to the 179s there. There are some other crypto names which are BMNR was our MTF calls, BMNR, as I show you on my day 2, say BMNR was a long over 1 hour MTF breakout, and BMNR also ran for us all day long, right? So there's so many opportunities. You see 1 hour MTF clouds breakout on BMNR. So there are so many opportunities, especially when the whole market bouncing. You can see that BMNR has been rejecting 1 hour MTF clouds for days and days and days and days. And when first time it reclaimed the 1 hour Ripster MTF clouds, it never stopped. So the system is so probable, so highly percentage where it pushes that out of those levels. We will cover it on more on Wednesday webinar, but hopefully you learned a lot and you're ready next time with your focus lists. Thank you.